for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy.
You said something that I find extremely interesting. You said it's very lonely at the top, but it's lonelier at the bottom. And that was something that I felt, because everybody can sort of relate to that. I mean, yes, the hype and the whole thing must have been incredible at times, but to find yourself maybe alone after a few years of all of this sort of dying down. What did that do to you? Was it cleansing? Did you have to really reach rock bottom? I mean, did you have to go through the drug whole thing and the rehabilitation and the...
I hit rock bottom emotionally probably about 10 years ago, when I had been out of it almost for 5 years. It took me that long to unwind, unravel, completely unravel. And I was really lost. I'd been married, unsuccessfully, very unhappy, didn't have a career anymore, really, didn't know what I wanted to do.
Was it that you didn't know what you wanted to do, or that people weren't hiring you because they still kept seeing you as Keith Partridge?
I think it was a question of both. I could have gotten hired, but the kind of work that was available to me was not the kind of work I wanted to do.
How did you pick up the pieces? What did you have to do?
I went through analysis 3 times a week for about 5 years. And I went through some unsuccessful relationships that caused me to do that, and some failure on my own part to address a pattern that was happening in my life consistently over and over and over again. Making the same mistakes, getting burned the same way emotionally, and feeling like, well, if this continually happens, there's no reason in the world why it's not going to continue to happen the rest of my life unless I do something about it, unless I find out why. You know, what is my need to fail in this relationship? I mean, I really was miserable. I was really anger. I found that when I would wake up, I stopped drinking as a result of this, because I couldn't drink anymore. I would drink and get angry, you know, and I'd think, the next day I'd feel terrible. So I just changed my life completely. I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking. I'm a bore now, you know? Don't ask me to come to your party. No, I'm a bore now. Stigma around being a teen idol is the worst possible thing anybody can do in this business. It's as if you get stamped, you're over, you're finished.
Did you miss the fame at the same time? Was it like a catch-22 in some way?
I didn't really miss the fame at all. In fact, I was always famous. Once you're that famous, that doesn't go away. People everywhere I went. I couldn't get the kind of work I wanted to get.
What did you want to do? What would have been the ideal role? I
mean, as an actor, what did I want to do? Well, I wanted to do a lot of the roles that I guess that Tom Cruise is now getting offered, or the kind of roles that, I mean, Tom Cruise is a lot younger than I am, so, I mean, if we look at the roles that Dustin Hoffman's done, you know, I mean, there are... Harrison Ford gets great roles.
Have you ever been allowed to read for that type of a role? I mean...
no. They're usually... Usually those kinds of roles are offered and developed for stars. But in order to get there, you have to have the power. So I lost all the power. I gave it up. So it was really a question of... Hollywood is really a difficult place. Television is a difficult place. It has a reputation of being a heartless, soulless, almost mindless town that is only interested in devouring you up,
That's right.
digesting you and spitting you out. And I didn't want to be a victim of that. I thought the way for me to get back and do what I wanted to do is get back and start the way I started, the theater. Mm-hmm. So I started working in class again. I started working in the regional theater. And I think that really started to bring me out personally. I started to get my life in order. And I started to do some good work and get acknowledged, get paid nothing for it, but to get acknowledged for it. So that really helped my own self-esteem.
Hi! And housekeeping. Everybody works here. Great. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Thank you very much.
So we even got the David Cassidy promo.
Yes, and we open it up. It's got
The video and the CD. You know, how excited am I to have this? David Cassidy, I think I love it.
How do you feel about the word comeback? I mean, you haven't been gone, you've been here.
Yeah.
And then there's like...
I have a certain amount of resentment about it, but, you know, in people's perception of me, it is. In essence, I'm coming back into the music business again. I've been writing songs, you know. I have a song on the New Asia album that I wrote. I think my songwriting has helped kind of bring me back. In fact, not helped, I think it's really responsible for me being where I am today. And I've been writing as a writer, been demoing lots and lots of songs.
Do you have a studio at home?
Yeah. So it's not like I've been away from the recording studio and I hadn't been near it. And I also made an album in 1985 in England that did really well, and in Europe. So I haven't been away from it that long. In America, it's the first album that's going to be released in 12 years, though. So that, I mean, I didn't put any unnecessary pressure on myself. I know there are a lot of people that are curious, and I hope that there are a lot of people that will want to see what this guy's really about. And I think the songs have to speak for themselves.
Touch again, I've been used to it. Hearts don't break, they just bend. I'll come bouncing back. You barely left a scratch on me.
He looks great. I think he's aged about 2 years since 1970. And the best thing is, girls, he's not married yet. I asked him.
I mean, I know that there's, 10 songs on this album. I'm sure that you have shoeboxes of demos at home.
Well, I have shoeboxes of ideas that I'll tell you what, I got to a point where I never demo anything unless I think it can be a hit, or unless I think it's good enough to where I would cut it.
Yeah.
I started writing with some people that make their living writing for other people, which was a good experience for me, because I found I'm not really that good at that. What became very obvious to me was that I'm my own person, my own style, and I don't know, if I had worked and spent a lot of time not being an artist, I perhaps could have developed more of that skill. There are people who do it so well, you know, you'll say Diana Ross, and they'll write something that sounds like Diana Ross. I can't do that. I just write whatever comes to me, what feels right. And if it fits, great.
To myself, that's the truth. It's killing me being without you. You're the only one, not fooling anyone. I'm lying to myself.
What is the writing experience for you? Is it strictly a job? Is it a cleansing for you? Is it a sort of, I'm in a loner type of mood, I need to just sort of sit down and write?
It's expression. It gives me an opportunity to paint. This is how I paint. I paint with this. Usually when I'm feeling emotional, or I'm feeling alone, or I'm feeling exposed, I come up with something. Sometimes if I'm feeling really good, I'll come up with something. But most of the time, my writing comes out of pain.
Falling far from the glory, remember.
When you look at what Susan Day is doing, L.A. Law, great job, great part. Do you see yourself doing a series like that? Is that something that you would like to do?
There are a lot of reasons why I don't really see myself doing another television series. I could tomorrow something. There aren't a lot of great roles in television. I'm not sure I want at this point. I've devoted an awful lot of time in the last few years to writing my music career, that I could afford to give up the amount of time that I would have to give up, sacrifice. And I think I'm too selfish about what I want to do. I want to go out on the road. I want to play again. I can go out and play the new stuff, and I can play the old stuff. And those songs, I went and listened to them not long ago, and they really have a life. You know, they're great. There were some really good songs that, for me, they've lied dormant for years. No one's brought them to life again. So I want to do that. I want to, for the millions of people that around the world that bought those records, I want to bring them to life again, and with a new sense of energy, you know, my own sense of like, here's what they're about for me today, and that's exciting for me.
Eh bien, c'est évident que les fans de David Cassidy ne l'ont pas oublié, car présentement, il est dans le top 30 des palmarès américains et canadiens. Mais pour ceux qui se rappellent de lui en tant qu'acteur, on vous laisse sur des images d'un film qui malheureusement n'est pas à l'affiche ici au Québec pour le moment. Voici David Cassidy, l'acteur dans Spirit of 76.
What sign are you? Because my mood ring just like totally changed colors.
Sign?
You know, of the zodiac. I bet you're a Capricorn. Caps are always so forgetful.
Capricorn.
I knew it! I'm psychic. Well, not really. I mean, I can't bend spoons or anything, but I can usually tell signs.
Hi, Cheryl.
Oh, hi. Well, I'll see you later. Ciao.
Ciao.